This is Classic FM.
Now, you haven't simply been the inspiration or the organising force behind all of this. You've been involved with your conception, the semi-staged production of Handel's Messiah. Tell me about your approach to that.
Well, it's been one of the thrills of the week is that I personally have got to work with artists across the whole week, actually, and you know, some of them for half an hour, or some of them for half a day in working out the details of the performance. But with the company for the Messiah, I've had a series of 4 or 5 half-day rehearsals as we've been investigating what a new approach to this great piece of music might be. And there's almost no 21st century technology in our staging of the Messiah. It's a sort of semi-staged concert. It's entirely about the music, and its starting point is really that Messiah was performed in that theatre just over there in 1782 to a heaving pit full of people. And it was performed in a theatre. At that stage, it was not appropriate, deemed inappropriate to be performed in a church, too dodgy. And the man who wrote it, Handel, was a dramatist, and he caused a sensation when at its first performance in Dublin, he insisted that a so-called, an allegedly sacred work be performed in the key alto role, which people who know Messiah will know is the real emotional guts of the piece. He insisted that was an actress. I mean, an actress who could sing, but not a classical singer. An actress who could sing, because I think he wrote the music dramatically. And I think that the subject of Messiah, which is of course faith, is understood by Handel dramatically. It's not a simple decoration of a beautiful belief system that is given to you as if no struggle would be involved. It seems to us, at least, to me and Simon Over, who's conducting, that the music responds quite well if you investigate faith dramatically. And we all understand what this means. When you go to a funeral, whether you believe in God or not, if you go to a funeral, the very tenets of any belief you might have in an afterlife are challenged by the loss of the person that you loved, who is dead. And in that moment, people struggle with their belief. And if you think of the story that Handel's telling, it's a story of a group of people who were led by a brilliant man, who were inspired by a brilliant man, and then he died. He was crucified, and they were all saying, what the hell's going on? This isn't supposed to happen at all. And out of that, this extraordinary invention of belief, whether you believe it or not, it's a magnificent mental cathedral that was built out of this loss. That is the story of the creation of faith. That's what it's like to say, I know that my Redeemer liveth, after your Redeemer's been crucified. And that's a dramatic thing, because when you approach the music in that way, you can hear the struggle in it. So what we've done is we've looked at the music in those terms, and then we've assembled some elements of staging around that in order to see, in the experimental kind of ambience of the Proms, whether we should develop that further into a properly rehearsed production.
So for you, for Handel, for the Messiah, to be here on stage at the Bristol Old Vic, this is really a coming home for this extraordinary oratorio.
It feels like it. And in a sort of more banal way, it's about taking classical music off its pedestal and putting it in the hearts of the people who might really be moved by it. It's about rediscovering that theatrical intimacy, which is where classical music was born, before they built special concert halls where you were told to shut up and not clap between movements, you know. From a historical point of view, there's a coming home. But for me personally, it's about having the opportunity to explore the dramatic potential of that great piece of music, and to have, you know, a choir and an orchestra on that tiny stage in that intimate horseshoe-shaped theatre. We had when we had the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra on that stage this week, the sound was extraordinary. You know, the Ciccone Quartet with Guy Johnson, 5 of them on that stage. The sound is amazing because it was built. It's a technology in itself, that theatre, to resonate with that sound made by stringed instruments. Imagine it when there's not only a string orchestra and a choir and soloists on it. It's going to blow the lid off the place.